It's winter, and you can now get almost anything you need for the coldest months of the year delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a ski slope delivered, but you can get dish soap delivered. Sunshine, that's a no. But a bottle of wine, that's a yes. A snow angel, sorry, no. But angel hair pasta, Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol and select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Rock on! It's Tuesday, and it's time for a later edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented, not currently, but also currently, and proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts. To my right, his Edmonton Oilers may not be doing well, but he's still a chill guy. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
Got to keep it even keel. I mean, I think Coach Nobby will have him turning it around. But I'm doing fantastically well. Busy day at work, but guess what? I'm off until next Tuesday. I'm
nice.
Fired up. We got our Thanksgiving stream on Thanksgiving. As Ryan always said, Santa comes on at 11:55. Tune in with us first. It's going to be a barrel of laughs. It is every year. It's becoming one of my favorite things. And one of the reasons why Thanksgiving, favorite holiday right here. Halloween is number 2. Christmas, I bump it down to number 3. Ryan, your holiday power rankings.
Holiday power rankings on the spot. Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving, Christmas, St. Patrick's Day, Easter.
All right. Hey, Christmas Eve. I like the inclusion of Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, always fun. Always fun.
And underrated. Sorely underrated.
Yeah, because Christmas Day goes by in a jiff. Christmas Eve, you have more time to savor it.
Yep. And I also like my church service at like the candlelight service at my churches. Get to sing Christmas songs. Get to listen to cool messages and get to light light stuff on fire.
There you
candles,
go.
Candles, guys, candles.
Yeah.
All right,
candles.
For legal purposes, this is a joke. I was talking about candles.
Ryan's not taking pages out of the Psalm book. Okay.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not burning Bibles because I don't because it's considered not a real Bible. Shut up. All right. Actually, you know what? Actually, before we continue, let's tell the people at home about where they can find us on social media. And that would be on Facebook, facebook.com/NoCredsREQ. Twitter, Instagram, the scarcely used TikTok @NoCredsREQ. And on YouTube, youtube.com/@NoCredsREQ. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on your preferred platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora. And why don't you go ahead and get yourself notified. Hit that notification bell on Twitter. I still refuse to call it X. And on YouTube. That way you know when live shows are going. That way you know when videos are up, like last night's production of the Three Rails Metro Hockey Podcast, which was off the freaking wall last night recording. We now have a new mask. We have a show mascot now. It is Staniel Smooth's emotional support shark. We have to come up with a name. So in the comments section, give us a name for Staniel Smooth's emotional support shark.
May I submit one?
Yes, you may.
May I submit 2 off the bat? Now, this one, I don't know Staniel Smooth's music tastes, but if you know the band Inspector 7, they have a song. They're a ska band from the 90s. They have a song called Sharky 17. So that's one. I would say Sharky 17. Okay. Or here's what you do in an homage. Because he was the shark in WCW, you call this shark John Tenta.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go. There's
interesting.
2 for me, but I'm going to listen to this episode after the show. I got some stuff to do around the house, things to do before I relax. And
I wouldn't listen to it. I'd watch it. I mean, I
all
put it
right,
on
watch
YouTube
it.
in the background because
All
there's
right.
some new effects, new elements that Staniel passed along that we're gonna use for the show going forward. I think he'll
Nice.
have a laugh. I think he'll have a
I'll have
laugh.
to watch that. I'll have to watch that then. I'll have to check that out when I'm relaxing later tonight. I got some stuff to do. But I mentioned in our Discord, I said, Ryan, that title alone has me. I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it.
You gotta listen to it. You gotta watch it. Either way, I'll be happy. I'm a happy boy. And especially if you're a Rangers fan, a Devils fan, or an Islanders fan, you're watching all 3 of our reactions. As all 3 of our teams were playing while we were recording, so you were catching our real time reaction. You're catching our reactions in real time. And I'll give you a spoiler alert. Mr. Smooth goes through an emotional roller coaster. So. With watching his Islanders. But anyway, let's get back to business. If you're on the podcast side, rate and review. A 5-star rating is helpful. A review is helpful if you are on a platform where you can review the show. And if you're on Spotify, if you're a Spotify subscriber, leave us a comment. You have the ability to leave comments. They help the show. They help the algorithm. They let people know that we're out there in the ether. And engage with the show. We're a live show tonight. We're going to be a live show on... Actually, I've got a trailer for Thursday's show.
Oh,
I got a message today from the one and only Mr. Cole Johnson. He will be with us for a portion of the show on Thursday. So,
awesome!
I'm excited for that. Love that dude. But we'll be live on Thursday. We'll also be live on Saturday. Don't worry, your pretty heads. If you're gonna miss Thursday or Saturday show, you're okay. You're good to go. We'll be live on Saturday too. But while you're at it, engage with the show. We've already got a comment in the comment section. Leave us a comment. And Dustin, you know the little hand, the big hand they're saying?
Chime time.
Chime time! That's right. Julie from Michigan has already joined us and has said, hi, gentlemen. Hello, Julie. Thank you for joining us. I see your Detroit Lions are doing really, really well. I've been debating whether to jump on their bandwagon because I did predict them in the Super Bowl. I did have the Lions going to the Super Bowl. The other prediction is complete and utter. Well, you know what? I'll let Cole tell you.
Ready and pull trace.
Mine are as well. Not to mention my other AFC championship game pick, which we'll be getting into them shortly during the show.
Yes, foreshadowing. It's called foreshadowing. So yeah, but let me play our Thanksgiving trailer. I'll go ahead and play that right now. Just let people know we're gonna be live Thanksgiving morning, 10 o'clock Eastern. So we'll play that trailer right now. That's again, folks, Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, on Twitter, on YouTube, and I'm gonna try to live stream onto Rumble because Rumble gets the replay the next day at 8 o'clock Eastern. But I'm gonna try to live stream to Rumble. I got it set up on StreamYard. I got the link ahead of time, but I'm hoping to have it up and running. But we'll see what happens. But join us Thursday morning. If we can't be on Rumble, at least you'll find us on YouTube and on Twitter, and join the fun. Again, Santa Claus doesn't come until 11:55, folks, in Thanksgiving Day parade. So you might as well tune into to something worthwhile instead of watching people lip sync to songs and dance. Tune into us. We'll entertain you.
Well, and we'll de-stress you if you're prepping or trying to get a bunch of food ready, or if you're making stuff the night before, like I am. I'm coming in with some homemade rolls for this Thanksgiving. We'll see how they turn out. But you can de-stress a little bit and hopefully get some quiet time. Hopefully we'll give you a couple laughs, couple yucks before the house full of people arrives, because most Thanksgiving gatherings, they don't start till about 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, maybe noon at the earliest. We'll get you out of there in plenty of time.
Indeed. So, and Tag Along now joins us on the show because he's a little lonely right now, but that's okay. My sister's not here, so he's bothering me, of course.
The OG show mascot.
The OGE has arrived. I'm sorry, OCE has arrived. It's the Orange Cat Energy. But speaking of energy, we got some energy going in the comments. Again, Julie from Michigan saying, I'm worried about Thanksgiving, though. To be honest, lots of injuries right now and a losing streak on Thanksgiving. Well, you're playing the Bears. So,
yeah. And
the Bears are losers of 5 in a row. But we'll talk about that. I'll talk about them in just a moment. But in the meantime, let's talk about the most intriguing, not the most intriguing matchup, the most entertaining game from Week 12. Hit the wrong element. I'm tired. Folks. I'm running on fumes right now. But let's talk about the most entertaining game. Dustin, I'll have you start. What was the most entertaining game to you?
Well, there were lots of picks this week. I texted you. I said, I have a lot to talk about. I couldn't wait for the show because this is one of the easiest weeks to talk about football in a.
Uh-oh. Did Dustin go? Or did I go?
I'm just going to say.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, we're back. Yeah, I wasn't
You're
sure.
back.
I saw both the screens go black. We're live.
So
we're both back. Here we are. But it's my turn to apologize, Ryan, because I picked this to be the worst matchup on the slate.
Me too.
And to say that I was
eating crow.
Yes. I'm dining happily on that crow because there were a lot of games to pick from. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pick this one. And I'm trying to be cautious. I don't want to put too much into this game, but I'll lift the veil. It's the Chiefs versus the Panthers. This game had me enthralled. Okay. And it's mostly because, and I know I've levied a lot of criticism at the Carolina Panthers, mostly due to their ownership. It's not anything against who is running the team or the coaching. Dave Canales, he said he could rebuild Bryce Young. That was a big reason why he got the job. And I'm not going to say that the rebuild has started, but I will say that I think Bryce Young learned something in that time where Andy Dalton started, because this is the most comfortable I've seen him look. You could see glimpses of why the Carolina Panthers felt, aka David Tepper, felt that he should be picked number 1 overall. It wasn't all perfect, but there were moments in this game, and I was proud. The Carolina Panthers, because Patrick Mahomes looked more like Patrick Mahomes than he had previously in any games of the season. And the Panthers had many opportunities to fold. The Chiefs came out, they scored first. Carolina Panthers responded with field goals. And that's what they kept doing. All of their scoring in the first half came off the foot of Eddie Pinheiro. But you know what it showed? It likened to me. So boxing's been a big theme on this show in recent weeks, Ryan. Yep. And it felt like the Carolina Panthers just kept responding with the jab. They got winded by the right hook or the uppercuts of the Chiefs, but they didn't go down. They just kept moving around the ring, hitting the jab, waiting for their spots. Field goals, and Adam Thielen in particularly did not look intimidated by the Chiefs. There was a point where the Chiefs were yapping at him. He was yapping back. He was up in their face. It was the Carolina Panthers came to play, and they played bend but don't break defense. Yes, they were down 20-9 heading into the half, but then they came out in the second half and they scored a touchdown to make it 20-16. And then the Chiefs scored again, but the Carolina Panthers, although they didn't score on those next possessions, their defense came up with 2 key stops to stop the Chiefs from building on that lead. And both those drives ended with sacks of Patrick Mahomes,
Yep.
even though he looked more Mahomesian, for lack of a better word, than he has previously at any point this season, in my opinion, except for maybe week 1, that win against the Ravens. Other than that, he has not looked like Patrick Mahomes. This game, he looked more like Patrick Mahomes that we all know. And but Carolina then scored a touchdown in a 2-point conversion. Chuba Hubbard scored on both, but that drive included a conversion that they had to have where Bryce Young and the offense, they went for it on 4th down. They converted, and then Adam Thielen, it was a big defensive pass interference call. He went for Thielen in the end zone, didn't get it, but there was the PI call, and it brought the Carolina to the goal line. Chuba Hubbard gets it in for the score, then scores the 2-point conversion to tie the game. And so
thanks to a pass interference on the first 2-point conversion attempt.
Yes,
they got halfway to the half distance to the goal, and Chuba Hubbard powered himself in that end zone.
Yeah, I was watching this game. Full disclosure, I was getting a little work done. I've been behind the 8 ball at work, but I was watching on my iPad, and I was enraptured by this game, and I was proud of the Carolina Panthers because they didn't flinch. They didn't flinch. No. They didn't fold under the pressure, and you can start to see now they still have a long journey, in my opinion, but at least they're starting to look like a football team with somewhat of a direction. You know, Xavier Legette looks like he's going to be a playmaker for them. Adam Thielen, although injured, it seems like he's a bit of a mentor for this team. He still has things left in the tank. I don't want to overreact from one game, but I liked what I saw from Carolina in this game. They hung in with the Chiefs, but the Chiefs would, in typical fashion. Mahomes had an unbelievable run to set them up for an easy chip shot field goal for the win, but they gave the Chiefs all they could handle. This was a good one. And to Julie's point in the comments, Patrick Mahomes has regressed a lot. So has Travis Kelce. Their other tight end, Noah Gray, had the 2 scores in this game that would have normally gone to Kelce. So who knows? But I wouldn't say they've regressed. DeAndre Hopkins is a huge addition to this team. You can see he brings a dimension. There's a lion himself right down there.
Yeah,
but I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by this game. I was, to quote Russell Crowe, if you're asking me, are you not entertained? I was, Russell Crowe. I was.
Yeah, that was a good game. I was watching. I watched. I got started a little late on my day with the Red Zone, but once I got home and I got things that I was just hanging about and getting some lunch, getting some just relaxing, having a nice Sunday before I went back to work yesterday, and that was one of the games that was. If you had Carolina covering in this game, you were a happy dude.
Yeah,
you were a happy dude because on Saturday the both of us were like, yeah, we're avoiding this game like the plague.
Yeah,
and yet somehow David Tepper is going to make his money because somehow on SeatGeek, promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, $20 off your first order of $50. Somehow, like the lowest price ticket at Bank of America Stadium was at $106.
You said
$106
like that.
Yeah, for like the
Ridiculous.
nosebleeds. But hey, if you went and used that promo code, you got treated to a heck of a game.
Oh yeah.
But that was the Panthers. I think that was the Panthers' mistake, was they left too much clock for Patrick Mahomes to work with, and he used pretty much all of it until the end when the field goal was kicked and it was a walk off by wasn't Harrison Butker. He's on IR currently. It was a rookie kicker. I can't remember his name. We'll do some real-time research, but he was actually on the Jets practice roster at the beginning of the season. So, the pain.
Oh, man.
For me, the most entertaining game for me, it was Vikings-Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And
this was a great one.
And Julie said in the comments, I'm here for the tag-along content. Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Show mascot, my friends. Vikings-Bears was actually very. We talked about on Saturday how this game was total crapshoot. Either you had complete dog water for games, or you're gonna be treated to some pretty good matches. And I had this game on my radar as a bounce back game for the Bears because eventually they're going to have to bounce back eventually.
Yeah.
They had losers of 4 in a row. 3 of the 4 of those games were one-score games, either coming at the and so a couple of them were at the death. We're at the death. And this one was no exception. Vikings they sprint out to a 24-10 lead at the end of the third quarter. Bears forced a turnover and downs. They scored a touchdown, missed a 2-point convert, and I said, why don't you just go for the extra point? Because at that point, they were down 24-16, kick the extra point, you're only down 7. But not necessarily a foreshadow. I mean, it might have been the best thing for them because what happens next is that the Vikings go down the field, kick a field goal of their own. Bears come back, they score a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion. They're only down 3 at this point. So they elect to go for the onside kick because of the new rules this year in the NFL. You can only declare onside kick. The new kickoff dynamic, I put that in air quotes. Kickoff rules state that you can only go for an onside kick if you're behind in the fourth quarter. Well, the Bears are behind in the fourth quarter. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, Vikings recover, this game's over. The Bears get it though.
Yeah.
Well, guess what happened? Short squib kick doesn't go 10 yards, but it's touched by a Vikings player.
Yeah, they touched it first.
Bears recover. Take 2 plays. I'm sorry, it was 1 play. 2 plays because they had the first down inside the 40 of the Vikings. Caleb Williams spikes the football, and Caleb Williams had a pretty good game.
Mm-hmm.
Had himself a really good game in this game. I think he threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. But he gets him inside the 40. Kairos Santos had a field goal blocked earlier in that game. That's haunting the Bears right now as a block because he's kicking line drives. This one looked close, but actually wound up going right down the middle for 48 yards. Goes to overtime. Bears win the coin toss. Vikings force a 3-and-out. Vikings get the ball back. They march down the field with about 2 minutes left in overtime. John Parker Romo, one of the whitest names ever, kicks a 29-yard field goal, seal the win for the Vikings, and they stay in step with the Lions for first place in the NFC North, while the Bears lose their fifth consecutive game. And I'm not going to say their season's spiraling out of control, but they got to win a game. They're still, I guess, they are still within striking range of the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the NFC standings. We'll do some real-time research here because that's what we do on the show because it's a live stream. We do some real-time research and look at the standings, and we're going to see the playoff scenario. Please hold.
Yeah, and I will say, the Bears, they've had some hard luck this season. They've lost on a few last-minute things. Their season could look vastly different, but who knows at the end of the season whether this is enough to save Coach Flus.
Yeah, they're 4-7, so they're 2.5 games behind Washington for that final wild card spot. So they were in striking range. They gotta win. They gotta win games.
Yeah.
They got to win some games, and this team is good enough to win those games. They just don't know how.
Yeah, they can't seem to do it.
And this is what the next couple games look. This is what the rest of the schedule looks like for the Bears. So they're at the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Then they're at the 49ers. They have 3 straight games on the road because they just had 3 straight home games. So at the Lions, at the 49ers, at the Vikings. They could win 1, maybe 2 of those games. Then they're at home against the Lions, at home against your Seahawks, and they close out the season against the Packers. So they got to win. They got to win. I think they got to win out.
Yeah, I mean, to be, because then that puts
them. They finished 10-7.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they would have they might have an outside shot if they finish 9. If they finish 9, no, I agree with you.
No,
I was trying to talk myself into they could do it with 9 wins, but I don't think so. There's too many. There's too many. As much as the NFC, there's certain spots where nobody wants to grab it. Somebody's going to be the NFC West division winner, and then one of the losers on that could be in the wild card. You look at the Rams, you look at the Cardinals and the Seahawks. They're all wavy enough to where one of those teams is going to win the division and the other one could sneak into the wild card. To say nothing of if the Niners get healthy.
You know what the craziest thing is? Looking at NFL.com and the playoff possibilities, the Bears have a less than 1% chance of making the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys, who are right below them, have a 3% playoff probability. But they play. I guess they play the Giants, so it was a pretty soft schedule through. It looks like they have a pretty soft schedule for the next 6 games. So, all right, we're gonna move on from the most entertaining games to the biggest upsets of Week 12 in the NFL, and we had our share. We had our share. Now, I debated this game for the most entertaining, as well as the biggest upset. But I decided to go with the biggest upset in this regard. And our guy, Drew Willingham, D. Willie, I'm sure he's going to be listening on the replay. His Commanders, man, heartbreaking loss. But this is an upset. This is an upset because they're playing a division rival, the Dallas Cowboys. For sure, I believe they were 10.5-point favorites coming into this game.
Oh man,
that's the crazy part. Yeah, if you had some upsets in the NFL this week, you made some cash, Ola.
Yeah,
but
some cheddar.
But the Commanders had their third loss in a row. Another heartbreaking game. So at the start of this game, the score was 10-9 after the third quarter.
Yeah.
41 combined points in the fourth quarter alone.
It was crazy.
It was nuts. And I'm watching this game on Red Zone. Cowboys score a touchdown. They go up 17-9. I think to myself, all right, this game's over. Washington's not playing well. Dallas's defense is surprisingly playing well in this game. This game's pretty much over. But the Commanders, to their credit, they come back. They score a touchdown of their own. Dallas responds with a touchdown of their own.
Yeah.
After that, they go up 27-17. Washington kicks a field goal. Dallas punts the ball. Now, this was after an onside kick that failed. Washington tried to go for the onside kick. They were down 7 at that point. They go for the onside kick. It fails. They force a 3-and-out from the Cowboys. But Dallas punts it to the 14-yard line of the Commanders. That's when the chaos starts. This is when the chaos actually starts.
Right.
So Jalen Daniels throws an out pattern to Terry McLaurin, who then takes it all the way for 86 yards for a touchdown. They're only down 1 at this point. They got to go for the extra point. And the extra point got missed.
Yeah. Austin Seibert,
or Seibert, whichever how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Misses the extra point, and the screen capture of him just going like this.
Oh yeah.
Is arguably the most memorable moment of Week 12. And I watched the replay of that mixed extra point. And I guess what happened was that the snap was low.
Yeah, it was a low snap.
The holder kind of bobbled it a little bit, and Seibert rushed it, which caused him to hook it.
Oh, he shanked it big time, yeah.
He shanked it. You can tell right away. You're like, oh, no.
Because that holder did a pretty good job getting that thing down.
Yeah, the holder made a good recovery. Made a great recovery, but Seibert just rushed it.
Yeah. And he had missed an extra point earlier in that game as well. He missed 2. He missed 2 extra points.
2 extra points. My goodness. But then Washington goes for another onside kick. which was returned all the way to the end zone for a touchdown with 14 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
And Mike McCarthy's like, why did you bring it all the way back for a touchdown? Why did you bring it? Because they left too much time on the clock, it seemed like. So at that point, Cowboys are up 8. Kickoff happens. Washington, a 2nd and 4 from their 42-yard line, intercepted, game over. And that's a big upset in my mind because this is the 3rd loss in a row for the Commanders. Dallas played an awful game on Monday night against the Houston Texans, and we'll talk about them in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But this seemed like it was going to be an absolute wash because Washington is clearly the superior team of the two. But Dallas, to their credit, Dallas had some fight in them. They kept going, and they went up winning this game. And that's why I picked them as the biggest upset of the week.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge upset, and one of the only reasons I didn't pick them for the biggest upset is because I ended up picking them for another category, which we'll get to. But I picked for my biggest upset. The Houston Texans should have won this game. The Houston Texans really should have won this game. They should not have. If you sack Will Levis 7 times in the first half, you should be winning the game. Also, no disrespect to Will Levis, but Will Levis is Will Levis. He can be one of the most Jekyll and Hyde quarterbacks out there right now. But the real reason, Ryan, and I have been very complimentary of Joe Mixon on this show for the dimension that he has brought the Texans running attack. Well, all credit to the Tennessee Titans defense, which both of us talked about on Saturday's show. The Titans defense in general, but their run defense is pretty good. They held Joe Mixon, I believe it was to 22 rushing yards on, you want to take a guess at how many attempts?
I think I saw a stat. I think it was 13 attempts.
It's 14 attempts. Your memory is very good. You were 1 off, but that is a horrific yards per rush average. The Titans shut him down. They took him out of the game. And this Texans team, I don't know whether it's they missed Stephon Diggs. I don't know what's different, but they are starting to come back to earth. I said earlier in the show, my AFC Championship game pick, the Texans were it. They're not looking too good right now. And all credit to the Titans. The Titans hung around enough in this game. And also, hats off in the season that has kind of been the rebirth of the running back, in my opinion. At least that's what I'm calling it. The emergence of, it's reminding everybody the running back is important. Tony Pollard, when he signed with the Titans, I think a lot of the football world said, why you signed with the Titans?
Mm-hmm.
And it was because he felt like the scheme was going to be a good scheme for him. He felt like they were going to use him. And he is right. They have been using Tony Pollard, and he had 119 rushing yards in this game. He gashed the Texans a little bit. But this still was a massive upset. This would have put the Texans like 4 games up in their division or something absurd. They needed to have this win. They should not have dropped this.
Yeah, because the Colts lost to the Lions.
Yeah,
and they got absolutely dominated by the Lions at home, which I kind of thought it was a trap game, to be honest, for Detroit, because Indy's coming off a win, nice comeback win against my New York Jets. And that's part of the reason why I enjoyed football this week, because I had to worry about the Jets. Easy, free, stress-free football. Love it. But yeah, so Indy lost some ground. They were already a game behind entering this game, and they stay a game behind after this game. So yeah, this is a pretty big upset. I was watching that game too. That was on my radar in terms of biggest of upsets. Yeah. But I figured Cowboys, that Commanders game was so wild. The Cowboys Commanders game was just so wild and the way that it ended, and the fact that the Cowboys won this game,
Yeah.
that to me in my mind was the biggest upset. Now, if Carolina had pulled off the impossible,
Oh man, I think both of us would have picked it.
I think both of us would have definitely picked it, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. But it was still a really entertaining game. So for anybody who spent their money on SeatGeek, $20 off, $50, promo code BellyUpSports, ding, you would have gotten your money's worth for sure. Even though it went to the pocket of David Tepper, still would have been worth it. All right, let's talk about the biggest disappointments from Week 12, according to what we thought, we observed. Why don't you go ahead and lead us off, Dustin? Biggest disappointment in your mind from Week 12?
I said the reason that I did not pick the Cowboys over the Commanders for biggest upset is because I picked them here. Biggest disappointment. I mean, you have Cooper Rush at quarterback. No disrespect, but mostly you are playing a Cowboys team that previously had looked like they had looked lifeless. They had looked like, I mean, they kind of looked like they quit. They kind of looked like they quit on the season. It looked like they had been beaten out of them. But like you said, the Cowboys defense, I don't know what their motivation was, but they came to play this game. They were ready for this game, and they did enough to keep a sloppy game. And for the first 3 quarters, they had the lead. They had the lead in it, and they were stymieing Jaden Daniels and this Commanders offense. And I was baffled. And then when Cooper Rush, the same thing, when he threw that touchdown to, I think, their tight end, if I'm trying to remember correctly, I think it was their tight end that he threw that touchdown to, who was wide open. And I'm going, this game is over. And we all know what happened. It was the Kaiser Soze finish, the reveal, the usual suspects. Credit to Bill Simmons. I think he's the one that came up with that corollary or theory. This game had the usual suspect treatment. He maintains, people say they love that movie, but they love the movie because of the ending. The rest of the movie is not what you remember. You remember the ending, and that ending is good. So you forget that, there's some rough spots in the rest of that movie. And that to me perfectly describes this Commanders Cowboys game. But like you said, to lose it in the heartbreaking fashion, this was a game that they should have, on paper, the Commanders win this every time.
Absolutely.
Every single time. And they took a long time to get going, and they had to have the ball break their way in that insane fourth quarter a couple times to even be in the position. So I would argue they should not have put themselves in the position. They should have put the Cowboys away early. But that's why they say any given Sunday in the NFL. But they're my biggest disappointment, the Commanders. Sorry, D. Willie. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it happen. I like a lot about your team, and I picked them to go to the playoffs at the beginning of the season. I think they'll still get there. But, man, this was not one they should have dropped.
Well, I'm going to flip this around for my biggest disappointment, and that your biggest upset was actually my biggest disappointment.
Synergy, Ryan. Synergy.
Bang, bang. It's my best Cactus Jack right there. Bang, bang. I don't know what's going on with the Houston Texans, man.
Yeah.
They've lost 3 out of 4. I don't know if the Jets juju got to them after they lost that game, because they lost that game. They lost the game against the Lions when they were up big. They forced 5 interceptions out of Jared Goff, and they still lose. Last week, they had the big win, the recovery win against the Cowboys on Monday night. Looked like they're going to right the ship, but unfortunately, the Tennessee Titans did what they did. They limited the Houston Texans to the tune of 260 yards total. They forced 2 turnovers. And here's the most surprising stat. So I was watching Red Zone. I was watching Red Zone as I do. And in the game, the final stat for penalties for the Houston Texans: 11 penalties for 81 yards. They had 7 penalties. 7 penalties in the fourth quarter alone. Most of those were offensive penalties. They scored a touchdown to go ahead, but an illegal, I think it was an illegal shift penalty cost them that. Then they missed a field goal. And Kaimi Fairbairn, who's usually automatic, misses a field goal. I think on that same drive. On that same drive, they had the penalty. He missed a chip shot.
Yeah, it was a chip shot.
Field goal. A chip shot field goal. Missed that field goal. And then they force a punt, and they figured, all right, we'll try to get this back. And then the Titans score a safety. They score a safety. I forgot what the reason was. Oh, it was a sack.
Yeah.
It was a sack. CJ Stroud was sacked in the end zone. And that's pretty much the end of the game right there. So the Texans shot themselves in the foot because they couldn't run the ball, committing too many penalties, especially in the fourth quarter. They were leaving points off the board, and give credit to the Titans defense. I know our guy Cole Johnson. He's a Texans fan because the Oilers had relocated to where the Titans are right now in Tennessee. Absolutely hates the fact that his Texans lost to his hated Tennessee Titans, even though it's funny how he lives in the Nashville area. And he hates the Titans. But you got to give credit where credit's due to the Titans. And as for the Texans, man, you guys got to fix your season quickly, because Indianapolis is on your tail. And they don't actually, I'm looking at the schedule. They don't play. They do not play the Colts for the rest of the year. They've already played the Colts twice. They beat them in week 1, and they beat them in week. They beat them right before they played the Jets. So their remaining schedule is at Jacksonville, at home against the Dolphins, at the Chiefs, at home against the Ravens, and they play the Titans again in week 18. So I think they can salvage their season. I mean, Nico Collins came back in the nick of time after Diggs went down, but I think they continue to establish their identity with the run game with Mixon, which was probably I think that was their best pickup of the offseason.
Yeah,
having him in their backfield. But they got some things to figure out. And DeMeco Ryans, hopefully the sophomore slump hasn't hit him with the coaching. And I mean, part of it is. I mean, this is what we're seeing in the AFC right now. It's Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, and you see some like everybody else.
Yeah. Well, and let's not forget too that one of those Texans wins was basically Buffalo snatching defeat from the jaws of victory because of Sean McDermott's baffling decision to allow Josh Allen to throw for it out of the end zone three consecutive times.
And one of those times was a penalty. It was an offensive pass interference penalty. So yeah, that was weird. All right, let's go to the comment section real quick before we go to break. Julie saying the Bears taking the Vikings to overtime. I was shocked by. So was I. I wasn't shocked. I was the fact that they got that onside kick.
Yeah,
get within field goal position to get inside the 40 and get that field goal. That was a shocking outcome. That was what made it entertaining. I was personally rooting for the Bears because the Vikings are right behind the Lions. Chelsea says Lions are 10-1. Vikings are 9-2. Packers are 7-3. Let's double check that real quick. Yep, Detroit is 10-1. Yeah. Minnesota's 9-2. Green Bay's 8-3.
I mean, the NFC North is the best division in football, not even withstanding, because the Bears, while the Bears are in last place in that division, we've detailed about how some of their games have come down to the wire, and their season could look different too. So, I mean, this NFC North, unbelievable division this year.
Yeah, as it stands right now in the playoff positioning, Lions would have the 1 seed, Eagles 2 seed, Seahawks 3, Falcons 4, Vikings 5, Packers 6, Commanders 7.
I don't mean to laugh, and don't come after me, Coach Mike McDonald. I know how fired up you were after this week's win, and I was pleasantly surprised. It wasn't a pretty game to watch, but man, I watched every second of it. I liked what I could see on Red Zone. The Seahawks defense came to play in this one. I was very happy about it, but don't come after me. But that audible laugh at the Seahawks, the absurdity of the Seahawks being the 3 seed right now. Sorry.
And your Uncle Al asks, on a scale of 1 to the Titanic, how much of a disaster are the Giants? I'm gonna say, and he'll get this reference, Tower of Babel.
Okay, and I'm going to say another reference that he will probably get. He's a massive history buff, but they are the Britannia, I think, was the sister ship of the Titanic. I'm trying to remember.
HMS. Hang on.
Yeah, what was it? It was something. I had it, and then it just left my head.
Lusitania?
No, Lusitania
was sunk by a U-boat.
Yeah, German U-boat. That was All right. Sister real-time research. Sister ship Titanic.
I would also reference Chernobyl because I've been watching a lot of documentaries and stuff about Chernobyl because it's recent history, but that would require an actual meltdown.
It's the Britannic. Britannic. So I had it correct. I was correct. I was there, but I knew he'd get it. I knew he'd get it.
He got it. He's watching. All right, we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we'll review the rest of what stood out in Week 12 in the NFL. We'll take a quick break. Stand by and stay tuned for more. No credentials required.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
All right, that's right, folks. Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, handmade craft jerky. It's awesome. Take my word for it. It's awesome. Take Dustin's word for it too. It's he loves it. He's a big fan of it too. Makes a great afternoon snack in that period between lunch and dinner, where you're getting to the end of the day at work. You need a quick pick me up. It's full of protein, not a whole lot of sugar. Comes in a 2-ounce package, 20 grams of protein. Outstanding snack, lots of flavors to choose from. They've also got beef sticks, which are 100% beef, and not like you see in the stores where you see the primary ingredient. It's not beef. It's pulverized chicken.
Ah, jeez. I'm sorry, Macho Man. I can't abide by this. I can't abide by this.
We can't snap into that. But in addition to human food, we got the beef jerky, the craft beef jerky, the beef sticks. They got the air dried biltong. They've also got dog treats.
Yeah.
For your puppers. Get some dog treats from your 100% beef snacks for your puppers. Also got great gear to choose from. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to righteousfelon.com. You're going to go to their store. You're going to put some stuff in your basket. You're going to enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and you're going to save 15% off your order. But wait, there's more. In addition to the 15% off, if you spend $50 or more at righteousfelon.com, guess what they do, Dustin?
Oh, they ship it for free.
So you combine the promo code combine with the promo code, free shipping, and the promo code for 15% off your order. You're going to save yourself some money, especially if you're looking for, I'm sorry for saying this so early, a stocking stuffer for your loved one this holiday season.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get Pickles some dog treats from there. Hey. So I hope he's not watching the show, but that'll be one of his Christmas presents. And if you're watching, little buddy. Yeah. And the other thing is too, you said put it in your basket. Put something better in your basket than lotion. Okay, don't put the lotion in the basket. Put some jerky in your basket. That's right, righteous felon. You can use that one.
It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Please, mister, let me out! Put the lotion in the f***ing basket.
As your uncle says, they pack it, and then they ship it. That's right, Al.
A Mrs. Doubtfire lied, I believe.
We're going to get fired. So righteousfelon.com. Promo code BELLYUP for 15% off your order and free shipping for every order of $50 or more. Let's talk about the most notable performance or performances in Week 12 of the NFL. I'll lead us off here. And this is going to be a shock to a lot of people. The most impressive performance in my mind this week, it was not Saquon Barkley. It was not Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't even Nick Chubb. It was Will Levis.
The Mayo Man.
The Mayo Man. Listen to this stat. Listen to this. This is the stat line. Yes, he was sacked 8 times. But despite being sacked 8 times, he was 18 of 24. Rather efficient. So 75% completion rate, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown, and that nice touchdown run from Ogankwu to put the Titans up 30-27. And he still had 1 interception, but this is actually a pretty impressive performance for a guy who's been maligned throughout the year, had his struggles early in the year. He got yelled at, he got chewed out by his new head coach. But interestingly enough, against a team that is kind of on this downslide a little bit, had a pretty good performance. And the Texans defense, isn't nothing to sniff at. He got sacked 8 times, but he still kept things going. And he had a great performance in this game. Very, very efficient. Great, and it's a great game for him. So Will Levis, head off to you, sir. What about you, Dustin? The most notable performance.
Well, I'll give you a little preview. In my black notebook, I had written down, I'm picking, even though they lost, it was going to be a bold move, but I was picking the Texans defense for their 7 first half sacks of Will Levis. Now they finished with 8. So I don't know if Tennessee made some offensive line adjustments or what they did, but they were able to kind of stem that bleeding in the second half. But then, and it's queuing because I see him in the comments. Sorry, I don't mean to time this, but then Saquon happened. Okay. When you have a performance like that, do you want to know? And I will cite our very own friend of the show, Cole Johnson, because I believe he commented on one Playmakers update via Facebook. And Cole was the one that really made my eyes pop. Saquon Barkley, 302 yards of offense, to quote Cole, by himself. All caps. That's more than some teams. I'm looking at you, Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Okay. Saquon had 2 runs of 70 yards or more for touchdowns, 2 TDs, 255 total rushing yards, 182 of which came in the second half. And he threw in 4 receptions for, I think, 47 yards. This is ridiculous. He is a one-man wrecking crew. He is saving the Philadelphia Eagles. You can talk about A.J. Brown. You can talk about Donta Smith. You can talk about Jalen Hurts. You can talk, but it's Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is the reason the Eagles are where they are. And it's, like I said, I was all set to pick Peter Brady. I was all set to pick the Texans defense in a losing effort, by the way, because I was so blown away by their dominant half. Then Saquon happens and it's all over. I mean, with a pick like that, you can call me basic or whatever you want, but I have been the one saying do not discard the importance of the running back. Last year, I was saying it. Running backs still are very important in this league. And this year, more than any other in recent memory in this quarterback-driven league, that's still what it is. I acknowledge that as much as anyone. But Saquon is showing that the running backs, you still need one. And man, it's making the Giants look so much worse.
Yep.
So much worse.
Yep. And I noticed this in our Discord, in the NFL channel of our Discord. LeVeon Bell posted a tweet yesterday.
Yeah.
He wrote, and I quote, "Giants let Saquon Barkley go. Titans let Derrick Henry go. Raiders let Josh Jacobs go. Giants, Titans, and Raiders combined a record 7-26. The teams that they went to, the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Packers, combined record 24-9.
Yeah.
And he closes it up with, maybe elite running backs matter."
I have to agree with you on this one, Le'Veon. I haven't agreed with a lot of your post-NFL career decisions. Don't be fighting people in boxing rings or whatever you were trying to do a few years ago. But
No, he's still a boxer.
I agree with you on this one. And because hats off to Josh Jacobs, too. If Saquon didn't do what he did, you very well could have picked him. He scored 3 touchdowns against the Niners defense, which is nothing to sneeze at. The Niners banged up a little bit, but that defense is still a good one.
Yeah. Before we go to our last section of the program, let's put the comment section. Kevin M checking in. Hi guys. Hey Kevin, what's going on, buddy? Dr. Lady checking in. Sports ball.
What's up, Dr. Lady?
And Mr. Playmaker says, "Evening fellas, I finally got off the mat. LOL."
Yeah.
Dr. Lady is saying, "Let's talk about baseball free agency rumors." No. Playmaker also says, "You good, Dustin? I still did Monster Wrestling on Monday." Yes, Monster Wrestling,
I know,
if you're a pro wrestling fan.
It's just that you came in and I was like, I was just getting ready to talk about it. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, our just Dr. Lady, our full concentration right now is football. So
yes,
sorry,
but
not sorry.
Yeah, maybe
in the Discord chat though. In the Discord chat, she's active in there with baseball stuff.
Oh yeah, always. Mostly reminding us how good Shohei Ohtani is. I mean, we know, but I still appreciate it.
And the fact that Ohtani and Judge were unanimous MVPs in both leagues respectively is just outstanding.
Yeah,
especially with their seasons. And think about this too, especially, and we're kind of dovetailing off of football into baseball now. But think about the slow start that Aaron Judge had and the season the numbers he still put up.
Yeah,
after April when he was batting like 229 and had only like 8 home runs, then he went off after that.
Yeah, I still wish some of that came in the playoffs though.
Me too. Judge tends to peter out in the playoffs, which is sad. Yeah. Your uncle says weird that I almost wrote Weird Al. Weird. Look, they're right next to each other.
I know.
He says weird that Le'Veon Bell is the voice of reason.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. And I will say that Dr. Lady, for one, for baseball, real quick, I can't wait to watch Ohtani pitch again this next coming season. So I hope he's pitching and hitting next season. That'll be something to watch. And
Playmaker says he does owe Dustin. He does owe. It says own, but I think he meant owe.
Yeah,
he does owe Dustin and the Seahawks a thank you though. So yeah,
hey, no problem. We're happy to beat the Cardinals for you.
Yeah, that NFC West division is just incredible right now.
Yeah.
All right. Our last category of the night, hottest individual take from the week. And I wrote to Dustin, I said to myself, you know what? It's week 12.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about the individual award race. I mean, right now, there are at least 5 players in the NFL who are garnering league MVP honors at this point. So I said, Dustin, you know what? Let's flip the script a little bit here. Let's do a league MVP power rankings. So we're going to name the top 5 players according to us, in terms of which players are the leading players for MVP right now. So Dustin, I'm gonna have you start and just give a brief synopsis of your 5 players in the league MVP power rankings, because we love to do power rankings on this show.
Yeah.
Because we know how they're subjective they are. But we're gonna talk about them right now. So who are your 5 descend in ascending order? So from 5 to 1, your top 5 league MVP candidates at this moment.
Okay, my top 5 right now. At number 5, I'm putting Jared Goff on the list. He's kind of come back down to earth a little bit at points this season, but he still has been amazing at quarterback. And if we could do co MVPs, I would put the Detroit Lions running backs on this list as well, Montgomery and Gibbs, because they play off each other so well. They complement. I can't though, because I don't think co MVPs are a thing. I'm putting Jared Goff on the list at number 5. At number 4, Derrick Henry still gives the Ravens another dimension on offense. He's kind of been eclipsed by another running back who we'll get to, but King Henry still a king. And it was nice to hear his former coach, Mike Vrabel, talking about him on the Manning cast last night. At number 3, I have Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. He is a reason why the Bills are where they are. He has looked very good this season. In previous seasons, you have to take the good of Josh Allen with the bad with Josh Allen. I'm putting Josh Allen here at number 3 because there's been a lot of good this season with Josh Allen, very little bad. Lamar Jackson is number 2 for me because when Lamar Jackson is right, there is no one like him in this league. The closest is maybe Jaden Daniels a year or so from now, but Lamar Jackson is dynamic. He is different. It is fitting that Playmaker is in the chat because he said it a few weeks back when the Bengals lost that game. They lost that game because Lamar Jackson is different. I believe he is. That's why I have him at number 2 on this list. And number 1, no surprise, he averaged 9.8 yards per rush on Sunday night. Saquon Barkley, he's backwards hurdling his way to number 1 in the MVP race, and it just he has invigorated the team that he has joined, and he has left a crater in the team that he left. That's my list. And with that, I cede the floor to you, sir. I have a feeling there's going to be some similarities in our list.
There are. And all of these players that you have are in my list, but they're in different order. So at number 5, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's having an amazing, I wouldn't say renaissance year, because he's been an elite running back since he's come into the league. But this season, for some reason, his game has stepped up to another level. He's at one point he was on his way. He was on pace for 2,000 yards. He ran for 2,027 yards in 2020. He was on pace to break his own record, and he would have been the two-time 2,000-yard rusher, which has never happened in NFL history. I think he still has the opportunity to do that, depending on who the Ravens play in the next 6 weeks. And let me just schedule real quick. So they play the Eagles. Wow, it's gonna be a heck of a game.
Yeah,
the Eagles, the Giants, the Steelers, the Texans, and the Browns. I think he might have a good chance to do that. He's currently leading the league with 1,325 yards, so he needs roughly 679 yards in the next 5 games, and it's doable. It's doable. But right now, he is number 5. Number 4, Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen, elite quarterback, but there's just some things in his game that are just something's missing. Something's missing with the Bills. I think part of it is the fact that they have a running game now to complement his style, and he can take more chances. But for me, he's still in the conversation but he's number 4. Number 3, Lamar Jackson, having an outstanding year, having a great year. He doesn't show, but unlike years past, he doesn't show signs of stopping. Like, in the first, how usually in the first couple months of the season, first 11 games, he's totally on, absolutely on. But he seems to peter out in the last 5-6 weeks of the year. I don't think, but I think having Derrick Henry in the backfield with him has helped him.
Yeah.
And I think it helps his chances for a league MVP. Number 2, I went with Jared Goff. Because even though he had that one game where he threw 5 interceptions, that's been an anomaly. He's had some crazy stats this season. He currently leads the league in completion percentage. You know what his completion percentage rate is right now?
What's that?
In 11 games, he has a 72.9 completion percentage. Now, Tua Tagovailoa is number 1. He has a 73.3 completion rating, but he's played in 4 less games.
Yeah.
He's been out for 4 games. But 73.9% completion rating, 2,761 yards. He's averaging 9 yards a throw. And he's got 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Again, those 9 interceptions, 5 of them more in
5
one
of
game.
them. Yeah.
So otherwise, he's throwing his touchdown to interception rate otherwise is 5-1.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. It's amazing stats. And he's got probably, I would say, arguably the most complete offense in the league with Sonic and Knuckles in the backfield.
Yeah.
He's got a wide array of receivers to throw to. He's got the complete package, but he's making it work. Like any other quarterback, I don't think any other quarterback in that if you put another quarterback in that lineup, I don't think it would be the same. I don't think it would be the same.
Yeah, he clearly has brought something to the Lions, and that coaching staff embraced him, and he has brought another dynamic. Interesting point, Ryan, that I heard on another show on the 4-letter network, I believe it was, but it was something that somebody said, and I forget who it was, but they said, they could see a scenario where maybe Daniel Jones, he goes to Detroit and he learns behind Jared Goff for a little while as the backup behind Jared Goff and could come in to stem the bleeding if something ever happened to Jared Goff. Did you ever think that we would get to a point where Jared Goff, seemingly cast off by the Rams and just punted away because, let me go get Matthew Stafford.
Right.
Did you ever think we'd get to the point where they're saying, another quarterback who was drafted high could learn something from Jared Goff? What a time we are in, and I couldn't be happier for the guy.
Yeah, honestly, no. I think the fact that Dan Campbell is his coach has helped him tremendously. Because you got to go back to the beginning when he was drafted by the Rams. His head coach was Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, that and that's. I mean, we take shots at Jeff Fisher, but
we do.
This is a Titanic
Arena Football 1 commissioner, Jeff Fisher.
Yes, but this was a Titanic miss, and I know we keep talking about it, but Playmaker would know better than anyone. When Jeff Fisher, the Jeff Fisher coached Rams, drafted Jared Goff, Jeff Fisher was quoted as saying after the training camp, he may be able to be a 3rd-string quarterback in the league. Nice thing to say about your high draft pick. Sean McVay takes over. Jared Goff and the Rams go to the Super Bowl. Yep. But everybody discredited Goff because they said, well, McVay's communicating audibles in his headset, and he's not really controlling the offense. You look at Jared Goff now; he's got control of the offense, and he's got a coach who believes in him 1,000%.
Yep. And just like his coach, he's biting kneecaps, earning everyone's respect, including ours. Yeah. That's why I have him at number 2 in my power rankings. But number 1 with a bullet in the league MVP power rankings, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Saquon Barkley, the tremendous season he's had. Look, he was a great player with the Giants. All right, great player with the Giants. Saved that 2020 season when he was tore his ACL and that god awful turf at MetLife Stadium. God, blow that up and salt the earth where it stands, because that place is cursed. But the Giants, your uncle asked from one of the Titanic how much of a disaster the Giants are. I said you said the Britannic. I said Tower of Babylon. I mean, you could define it because they made the wrong decision and that they awarded the wrong player a big contract. Mm-hmm. They awarded Daniel Jones a huge contract based on one season.
Yeah.
One season where he went to the playoffs. And then left Saquon Barkley hanging in the dust, hanging in the wind. They franchise tag him, they play around with him, and he has a decent season in 2023. Then free agency comes around. We watched what transpired on off season Hard Knocks, and John Mara was saying, I'm gonna have a sleepless nights if Saquon walks. Well, guess what happened? Joe Shane, John Mara, you let him walk. You went to your division rival basically for scale right now, because that contract. Because Howie Roseman did a tremendous job in convincing Saquon Barkley to come to the Eagles. I'm not gonna say for league minimum, but the way his contract is structured. And if I had Spot Track in front of me, I'd look it up. But the way his contract is structured is that he doesn't make a whole lot of money this year, but he's going to meet a lot of incentives. Currently, he's outpacing Derrick Henry. Only 77 yards separates them in the league rushing title race. Mm-hmm. But the way he's fit into this offense, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We talked about this a couple Saturdays ago, and that this offense, Jared Hurts doesn't have to do as much as he was relied on to do in the last couple seasons. Now he's got an elite running back to work with. And all he has to do is just kind of facilitate, make the right throws when he needs to, because he's got Saquon Barkley in the backfield to take the load off of him. And I think for that alone, he's my number one in the league MVP power rankings. Yeah.
And I mean, you could argue, if the Eagles don't have Saquon on Sunday night, they don't win that game. I think the Rams did enough where they could have won that game if the Eagles did not have Saquon. Yeah. But there are many games you could say that about on the Eagles schedule, that Saquon is like, either if he's not the reason they win it, he's a massive factor in every single game that he suits up for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I mean,
and I know Eagles fans hate Nick Sirianni right now, but they don't really have to hate him that much if they got Saquon Barkley in the backfield doing the things that he's been doing, especially over the last 4 weeks of the year, and especially on Sunday night in prime time. It's incredible.
And he's 27 years old. Yeah. It seems like Saquon's been around forever, because he has, but he's 27 years old. He still has seasons left. Yeah. So it's gonna be a wild ride in the rest of the year, especially with the league MVP power rankings. A couple of comments before we get out of here. Your Uncle Al saying that Derrick Henry will get 500 yards against the Giants defense. Rushing yards against the Giants defense. You and Uncle Al are kind of in similar football positions this year. I've seen the passion drain from your eyes when it comes to your New York Jets, and I think based on his texts, we text almost every Sunday about football. Based on his text, he's there.
Yeah, I am. To quote Michael Scott, I am dead inside when it comes to football. Playmaker, he's got a couple of comments here. He says he has Saquon 1, Lamar 2, Josh Allen 3, Derrick Henry 4, Jared Goff 5. If the Bengals didn't find a way to lose games, Joe Burrow would be number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like those 2 errors in it, because it made it sound really cool. Like he's a big Mandalorian fan. Joe Burrow would be the way.
It would be the way.
And it was also the best typo where he forgot the N in Bengals, so it said the Beagles, which would be a cuter team.
Yes, it would be. Your Uncle Al says that Joe Burrow gets my hard luck award. Yeah, for sure. for sure. We also, and Playmaker says, Jeff Fisher mentioned, now I got a headache.
I'm sorry. Some MJ will take that headache away. May I recommend listening to Leave Me Alone? I love that song off of Bad.
Great video, too.
The video had all the dogs. Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're going to get out of here. But before we do that, just want to remind you that to follow us on social media, facebook.com/NoCardsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, scarcely use TikTok @NoCardsREQ, youtube.com/@NoCardsREQ, and on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you podcast, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora, and get yourself notified on Twitter, not X, Twitter, and on YouTube. That way you know when live videos go up or the 3 Rails Metro Hockey podcast goes up as well. It's pre-recorded, but it's uploaded to YouTube. Watch the next day at 7 a.m. Eastern. We'll let you know when we're going to record. But also on the podcast side, rate and review. A 5-star rating would be very helpful. Review, if you can leave a podcast review on your platform. Also on Spotify, if you're subscribed on Spotify, leave a comment. We'll read the comments. We'll read them on the air. And for those of you who have engaged with the live show tonight, thank you for joining in on the replay, whether it be on Rumble or YouTube or Twitter. Leave a comment, engage with the show, leave a comment. We'll get back to you. When we can. We'll definitely, and we also reply to comments that are left in the comment section after we've done recording. So those are also very, very helpful. So thank you again for tuning in to this edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. Don't forget, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern is our Thanksgiving special, and Saturday, at 10 a.m. Eastern is our Saturday show. We'll be talking about Thanksgiving Day games. We'll also preview the rest of Week 13. Week 13 in the NFL. Man,
it's crazy. The weather's getting cold and the football matters.
That's right. But the football action is getting red hot. Yeah. All right, we'll see you on Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, everybody. Don't forget, it's on YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble. Not on Facebook, on Rumble. We're gonna try live streaming to Rumble. Hopefully it works. But until then, Dustin.
Good night, everybody.
Say it again.
Good night, everybody.
This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Gladiator 2 is now streaming on Paramount Plus. Rated R. Years after the death of Maximus, Lucius is forced into the Colosseum after his home is conquered by tyrannical twin Roman emperors. With the future of the empire at stake, he must find strength and honor to return the glory of Rome to its people. Gladiator 2, now streaming on ParamountPlus.com.